Right, good fun one today. Jake Paul is fighting Anderson Silva at some point, so not usually that interested in Jake Paul's fights. I've covered a few in the past, predicted them accurately. Jake Paul to win, although I wouldn't say it wasn't one of the best predictions I'd ever done. Certainly, I didn't think it was that great myself. But anyway, I'm interested in this fight because I do think I'm not saying the fights are fixed. I don't think they're 100% fixed, but excuse me, there is something weird about how all of Jake's fights seem to be fairly easy wins. I mean, fair enough, the first few guys he fought were like not very good at fighting, let's say that. So those were easy wins, but they were deserved wins, I thought. So, but then he fought Tyron Woodley, ex UFC champion, and he fought him twice and beat him twice. So it's difficult to say that that wasn't real because the second time he actually knocked him out cold, and the first time he got the decision. So, but I mean, it didn't seem to me like Tyron really put that much resistance up, considering the caliber of fighter that he is, the pedigree that he has. I would have thought he presented more problems to Jake than he did. So here we are with him fighting Anderson Silva, another ex-UFC champion, although one with a much higher pedigree, with far higher regard behind him from the fans, including myself. So for those of you who don't know, Anderson Silva, the Spider, is pretty much one of the oldest. I mean, he might well be the oldest currently competing UFC person. So, I mean, at 46 or whatever, he definitely shouldn't be doing it. But he beats practically everyone. He's lost, a handful of times when he was in his prime, and then some more time since then. But I mean, the guy always gives you a good fight. Who's the person I recently saw him lose to? He fought Israel Adesanya, another champion, a current champion, and he got beaten there. But I mean, even during that fight, there were various points when I thought he could have won there. You know, if the other guy had an unlucky, not catching the blow or not guarding correctly, he could have been beaten. But he won that fight. So anyway, so why do I think Anderson Silva is going to lose to Jake Paul, and how do I think he's going to lose? Well, what I think is going to happen is they're going to dance around a bit for the first 2 or 3 rounds and exchange blows, and then Jake is going to realise that he's not going to knock out Anderson Silva, even though he's got a punch hard enough to knock him out. He won't be able to hit him cleanly. He's the Spider. He's not called the Spider for no reason. It's because he gets around on his feet well, and he can attack from any angle. So although I don't see him making the most of that ability here in a boxing ring, because he can't use kicks, elbows, clinch work, anything like that, it's strictly punches to the head or the body. And I don't think, I mean, he's knocked people out with punches, and he's used punches in all his fights, but he's not a puncher in that regard. If he was up against a pro boxer, I'm sure he'd try and stay out of range, because he hasn't got the guarding skills to guard like a good heavy boxing combo coming in 2 or 3 hits, and he hasn't got power in the boxing punches to retaliate. So yeah, I think this fight will go to the distance, and it will be a split decision win for Jake at the end. Whether or not he earns it during the fight, we don't know. I mean, a lot of his fights have been, let's say, generously scored in his favour. So if it's come down to a decision, he's going to definitely win it. He's got the home advantage. His promotion company, Triller, is putting the event on and paying for all the fight coverage and everything else. So it certainly is a stacked card against Anderson. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I mean, that's my view on things. As a gambler, as a gambling man myself, I'm probably going to keep my powder dry on this one, not spend any money on it. But if you really have to throw money at this one, definitely throw it behind Jake Paul to win by a split decision. Small possibility of a knockout, but I just personally don't see him knocking out Anderson Silva. I just don't. So the guys he's knocked out have either been tomato cans and they, got knocked over really easily, or guys like Tyron Woodley who are just a bit out of practice maybe and not really fit enough. If he'd come in fit, who knows, it might have been different. So anyway, Jake Paul, Anderson Silva, yes. Contrary to popularly held belief, I think Anderson Silva actually doesn't have any chance to win this fight. So if you do have to put money behind it, Jake Paul by split decision win, or no, I'm going to say no chance for knockout. So yeah, split decision win for Jake Paul, and hopefully he won't. Hopefully I just love Anderson Silva. Hopefully he doesn't get embarrassed or doesn't actually get knocked out cold, because that would just not be good. But I don't see that happening. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to the fight, and I'll probably make a video afterwards gloating on how great my prediction was. So yeah, everyone who's on it, hope you win your bets, and everyone who's not, enjoy the fight.